Disney has influenced my academia, I guess, a few times. In that several times during high school and college, I actually wrote about Disney for papers. And one that stands out to me is when I was taking a class about Shakespeare comedies. And I actually wrote in my introduction to a comparison of Midsummer's Night's Dream to, I think it was Taming of the Shrew. But anyway, I wrote in the introduction about a cartoon, and the mention of this cartoon elicited a very surprised reaction from my professor. He did not know this existed, and I had to assure him and almost show him, yes, it did exist. And what I was talking about was the cartoon A Midsummer Night's Dream. You can find it in a House of Mouse episode, the one where Scrooge takes over. And when I first saw this cartoon, I was surprised for a multitude of reasons. And these were all good surprises. First off, whenever a cartoon takes an adaptation of Shakespeare, 9 out of 10 it's Romeo and Juliet, which is, sadly predictable. And Midsummer Night's Dream is well known in adult community, I would suppose, but not so much to kids. So this is a great way of introducing a great play. It's not true to the exact form, like the whole play within a play, and the whole donkey head thing is left out. But what are you gonna do? You only have like 10 or 20 minutes to tell a cartoon story, so. The next thing that surprised me was, for one of the very few times in animation, we saw Mickey and Minnie not get married, but get proposed to. And for someone who loves the mice as much as I do, to see a proposal actually happening kind of made my heart stop. Sure, it's not canon, but it was still fantastic to see. The lead up, the reactions, everything about it. So adorable. The next thing was Daisy in love with Donald, but being rejected automatically. This was something I hadn't seen since Donald's Dilemma. And then Donald had loved her initially, but then the whole flower pot bonk memory removing thing. In this story, he doesn't like her at all. Period. He's actually in love with Minnie, while she's obsessed with him. There's a hilarious part in the forest where Daisy's chasing after Donald, and Donald says, "I love you not," or "I don't love you." Either way, it's hard to tell with his, And Daisy says, "For that, I love you all the more." Ugh. If you know the story, then you know what happens. If you don't, basically, this king of fairies sends Goofy out to try and solve these love problems, but instead he mixes it up, so both Donald and Mickey wind up falling in love with Daisy. It's strange, it's hilarious, it's bizarre, and the ending is just some of the funniest reactions I've ever seen. Coming out of Mickey, coming out of everybody, to be honest. This is a fantastic cartoon. I really recommend others to see it for all of these elements, because these aren't elements we see that often. Even Ludwig, who's only seen in educational things nowadays, he gets a major role playing the king. And a hilarious king, to be honest. Which was another great thing about House of Mouse and Toonworks, whatever it was called, in that they made Ludwig more of a central character. He wasn't just there for education, he was actually a personality. They actually gave him funny lines and funny roles. So, I guess, I don't know if this is a short video, there's no timer on this, but I really recommend watching Midsummer's Night's Dream. It's hilarious. It takes characters you love and puts them in new situations, which always works for the Sensational Six. And, to be honest, if you could find a House of Mouse cartoon I didn't like, I would have to heal over and die, because that's impossible. Every House of Mouse cartoon, and cartoon within cartoons, was fun, was great. I love them all. So, yeah, I'm just rambling about a single cartoon. I guess I don't have much to say. So I think I'll end it here before I bore you any further.